Hey guys, it's me again. And how about some more poems? That all right? Yeah, maybe not. Well, I'm gonna read you some more poems anyway. How about that? Let me see. I'm trying to think. There's some kind of short, stubby thing I can whip out here. Uh, some stuff is just too bleeding abstract. And I'm kind of weird about stuff like it's just kind of like in my old age. Yeah, when I have difficulty enough reading straight anyway. Uh, that stuff. Okay, here's kind of a weird one. We'll go over here and we'll see how I fare doing this one. Okay, is one called The Sleek Young Elephants. A lot of stuff went into this. I actually wrote this or started germinating in my head in West Virginia. I was on a camping trip, and if you want to hear the full story of the camping trip, I did a poem elsewhere on this channel called "Back to Babylon," and you can have fun with that. But okay, the sleek young elephants. One, culture is slang for the upper classes masturbating. The sleek young elephants, in a flurry of applause, crashed Tollbooth's constraints and rampaged down the freeway. CEOs' heads on pikes may be a sad but necessary eventuality, icicles, seven fingers clutching. Pleasant pequops and clusters, water and foam splashing red belly up and down the Oregon coast. Apaches ransacking cigar stores, sodomizing frightened anime cashier girls. Appalachian ass beatings for dessert with a side of the cheapest beer. American dysentery and star-spangled cholera. Sabotage through the bowels. Six up in the woods. Six up on the street. Six up on the TV. Six up in the clubs. Six up in the galleries. The next revolution is a broken record, stuttering. I heard it on Leno. Did you ever watch the Jay Leno show? Yeah, I'm dating myself with that one. Two, the Chamber of Commerce and other economic honchos dish out art with fancy capital A's and tiny parenthetical F's. Young executives jack meat and Pavlovian joy, pony up dollars. The scam works as per usual. Target audience swoons and goose steps off, finding their place in the anesthetic parade. Meanwhile, in other news, the American death has officially been pronounced fragrant. What historians failed to tell you about the Colossus is it's a grieving figure. It stands unimaginably huge against a damaged sky, weeping over the flaming rubble of everything it loves. Anyway, so that was where my head was at circa 2005. I'm going to read a couple of fairly recent poems. This one was called This is My Own Private Jonestown. I was listening real heavily to Brian Jonestown Massacre at the time. That's kind of what fueled this. Dealing aces and eights up from the bottom of the Thoth deck, free associating the appropriate last gasp, fires dying alongside blighted landscapes. I can't take my mouth off the long, flat stretch of days that lay out in front of me like a desert or a skillet. What do you say we call it a draw? Say you felt sorry for me first and watched it follow the traditional arc of snakes, ladders, hell dolls, ethical bankruptcy, and marinated chicken. For my own purposes, I draw the line in the sand, this line in the sand. cross myself reflexively, curse and spit on the curb. I want to visit cruel tableaus on a cowardly populace who expect only the lowest palatable denominator. I want to engage in photo shoots featuring sexy women wearing gas masks, pose with the world's prettiest firearm that will never emit a bullet, but remain pure and virginal. I want to hunker down with you in a darkened room for several days, tripping balls and watching interesting films, inane cartoons, xenophobic religious programming. I want a Chinese buffet, socialist ponies that go on for miles. I want you to sit on my face. I want to die in Paris. Okay, one more. This is actually probably the last poem I wrote before this book was completed, which means it's kind of the newest, the youngest, what have you. Yeah, so Adults, written on February 22nd, 2021. All right. I remember as a kid, my parents held this party where I was expected to try and steer clear because it was all grown-ups. I wound up making scant appearances anyway. It was my house, and where was I going to go? At one point, I was downstairs where my father or one of the other stupid men was laughing loudly and messing with a shotgun. It was pointed at the floor. What were they going to do? Shoot the floor? Everyone was laughing. I became frightened and had to leave. Later on, I came back through, and some old man I had never seen before walked over to me, smiled, and said something that sounded like "adiada," like it was a question. I stared daggers through him and said nothing, and I walked away cautiously because I had no idea how to respond to "adiada." All my dealings with people right up to this day feel like that. Anyway, there you go. More poems from the book. Description, link in the description down below. Go out and buy it for yourself. Read all the other stuff I got. Enjoy it. Throw it at your loved ones, whatever. Bye.